Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc. Guyana's president urges the country's Elections Commission to advise when it will be ready for the polls. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, March 13th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. President David Granger has written to the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, asking it to submit a work program as soon as possible for the holding of elections. In the letter to GECOM Chairman, retired Justice James Patterson, sent on Wednesday, Granger said it is essential that he be informed of the Commission's readiness to deliver credible polls in Guyana. Granger wrote, quote, "I urge you to present your plans, programs, and financial needs, which will guide my proclamation of a suitable date for elections," end quote. The main opposition People's Progressive Party has been calling for fresh regional and general elections to be held no later than March 19th, in keeping with the provisions of the Guyana Constitution, following the successful tabling of a no-confidence motion against the coalition government last December 21st. But the GECOM has said it is unable to hold credible elections within the 90-day period. The government has appealed the High Court ruling that the no-confidence vote is valid. Over in Haiti, the Speaker of the Senate has cast doubt on the country holding legislative and municipal elections in October this year. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Jean-Henri Sion, during a visit to the Provisional Electoral Council, the CEP, announced that the elections would take place on the last Sunday in October. He said he was confident the polls would be held in a peaceful environment. But the Senate Speaker told a news conference that talking about elections in October this year was making reference to something fictitious. He said he made his position known to U.S. authorities during his recent visit to that country. He told reporters that the socio-political and economic crisis, the insecurity in neighborhoods, and the budget for the elections are some of the issues to be examined before a date for the polls can be declared. The Bermuda government says it's confident the territory will soon be removed from the new blacklist released by the European Union on Tuesday. The island, along with Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Belize, and Dominica, were named in a list of 15 countries deemed non-cooperative jurisdictions for tax purposes, based on an assessment done by the European Commission. At a press conference where he was backed by the island's top business leaders, Premier David Burt said it was disappointing that endless hours of crafting a regime that would meet the required test and actually having that regime in place had not been enough to prevent the island's inclusion. But he described it as a setback for the British Overseas Territory that would soon be overcome. He said he believes that between now and May, when the EU committee next meets, a fair assessment of Bermuda's legislation will confirm its compliance and it will be removed from the list.
Bermuda is compliant, and we are confident that within a matter of weeks, that will be accepted by EU member states, and Bermuda will be removed from this list. This confidence is shared by the United Kingdom government, who through the Treasury specifically stated, and I quote, that Bermuda has legislated to address the issue identified. In light of this, we expect Bermuda and other compliant jurisdictions to be removed from the list at the next available opportunity. End quote.
Premier Burt said the government did not anticipate any sanctions to be levied against Bermuda, but he stressed that it will press its case for fairness. Finance Minister Curtis Dickinson blamed Bermuda's inclusion on the list on a technical omission in one of its earlier submissions to the EU, which had to be corrected and sent back. President of the Antigua and Barbuda Cruise Tourism Association, Nathan Dundas, is being accused by the Twin Island nations government of scaremongering following his statement that Carnival Cruise Lines has cancelled several scheduled calls to the country. Dundas had told local media that Antigua had been scrapped from the itinerary of the Carnival Breeze, Carnival Magic, Carnival Legend and Carnival Pride cruise ships, which were scheduled to sail to St. John's for the 2019-2020 winter season, and he warned of more cancellations to follow. But in a statement issued late Tuesday, Tourism Minister Charles Fernandez said the comments were misleading and deceptive and caused unnecessary fear among cruise stakeholders. He said what Dundas did not say was that Carnival Cruise Lines normally makes only 3 or 4 calls to Antigua and Barbuda annually. The minister said the one exception was the 2017-2018 winter season when hurricanes decimated other destinations, causing Carnival to call at Antigua's fully functioning port. Fernandez said the total number of passengers that would be affected by the Carnival cancellations is approximately 12,100, which he said is a relatively small number of total cruise passengers that visit Antigua and Barbuda every year. And he dismissed Dundas's claim of massive fallout. Minister Fernandez said, quote, "While we regret any loss of business, however small in percentage terms, we do not anticipate any significant adverse impact on the stakeholders in our economy," end quote. Guadeloupe is set to join the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, as an associate member. The French Caribbean island will be admitted to the sub-regional grouping when OECS leaders meet there in a special session on Thursday. Last week, more than 100 people attended a conference at the University of Antilles on Guadeloupe's impending accession. The organizers of that forum said it was designed to better understand the OECS and the priority areas of collaboration between Guadeloupe and the other OECS member states, which are Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Anguilla, and the British Virgin Islands. We'll be back after the break.
Ensure that your seatbelts are now securely fastened. All tray tables placed in your right and left position.
So I'm adding a little bit of salt, some basic Caribbean green seasoning. This is a really simple Caribbean seasoning blend. The pimento or seasoning peppers, hot peppers. To the pot now, I'm adding some curry powder, some turmeric, some roasted ground jeera, and some black amchar masala. And once it's ready, it'll look very grainy and dry, and you'll see the oil separating. So now is a good time to add your seasoned chicken in.
Jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up, it's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy David Doe.
Hi, I'm Elme.
This is Buju Banton and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019. Featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and Elme. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Shal Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkittsmusicfestival.com.
St. Lucian biotechnologist Johannan Dujon is among 4 Commonwealth citizens who were recognized on a Wednesday for their efforts to end hunger, sexual violence, sanitation issues, and climate change. Dujon developed a process to transform sargassum seaweed to a high-quality fertilizer, which he now exports to other small states. His company, Algus Organics, develops commercial agricultural products from harmful sargassum seaweed. These products unblock fish landing sites and reduce the harmful effect of the seaweed's hydrogen sulfide emissions on local communities. He told an awards ceremony at the Commonwealth headquarters in London that St. Lucia heavily depends on tourism, and the seaweed has been having a crippling effect on the tourism and local fisheries sector. Firefighters in St. Lucia on a Wednesday joined public servants who have taken industrial action to force the government to start wage negotiations for the 2016-2018 period. In a letter to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Service, Peggy Ann Soldat, the chairman of the St. Lucia Fire Service Association, Shane Felix, said the decision to strike was made at an emergency meeting on Tuesday. The FSA also warned of the growing exasperation and low morale among its members. It added that the decision also took into consideration the decades-long outstanding matters confronting the St. Lucia Fire Service, evidenced in the most recent 2016 report by Local Partnerships, a British consultancy firm, which in effect concluded that the St. Lucia Fire Service is at a point of crisis. The SLFSA said it was calling for the immediate establishment of a task force to assist with resolving the long-standing grievances of the fire service. The FSA said that it is only when its requests are acknowledged and a commitment made to address their needs will firefighters return to work. The industrial action by the SLFSA comes after the St. Lucia Teachers Union and the Civil Services Association both requested the GNT to return to the negotiation table by Thursday to discuss salaries and work conditions. Venezuela's Supreme Court is being asked to investigate opposition leader Juan Guaido for allegedly sabotaging the country's electrical system. Much of Venezuela has been without power since last Thursday. President Nicolas Maduro has said that U.S. technology was used to sabotage the electricity grid, and he has pointed fingers at the opposition. But Guaido says the outage is due to government's mismanagement. Since the power cut, the two sides have been playing the blame game for the electricity crisis. So far, according to a tally kept by an opposition lawmaker, 24 people are reported to have died as a result of the power cut. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department has announced it will withdraw all diplomatic staff from Venezuela this week due to the deteriorating situation in the Spanish-speaking nation. Jamaica's opposition People's National Party, PNP, says the $14 billion in tax cuts announced by the government are inequitable and continue to place the tax burden on the poor. In his contribution to the 2019-2020 budget debate on Tuesday afternoon, opposition spokesman on finance Mark Golding said government's tax policy is worsening inequalities in Jamaica. He said the government should have reduced the general consumption tax rate and the special consumption tax on fuel, as a wider cross-section of the population would have benefited. Ahead in Caribbean Newsline, Cricket West Indies presidential candidate Ricky Skerritt says the incumbent needs to own his successes and failures at the helm.
Welcome to the WWG 2019 War with Germs.
The Oxitec antimicrobial glove is wasting no time, folks.
Quite right, Tammy. I see no way for the germs duo to come back from this.
Oh, what a slam. What a slam. Oxitec is the winner in less than a minute. WWG champion of the world. Find our champion at www.psci.biz or give us a call at 417-0777.
jump up to this non-stop turn and twist.
What up? It's your boy French Montana.
It's me, Smokey Robinson.
It's your boy David Doe.
Hi, I'm Elme.
This is Buju Banton, and I'll be performing live with the Shiloh Band in St. Kitts Music Festival.
Don't miss the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, June 26th to June 30th, 2019, featuring Buju Banton, Smokey Robinson, Popcorn, and LMA. Also, Davido, French Montana, Fimba, Edwin Yearwood and Crossfire, Coco T, Skinny Fabulous, Shal Marshall, Charlie Black, Farmer Nappy, Nadia Batson, Infamous, New Vibes Band, and many, many more. It will be epic. It will be mind-blowing. It will be jaw-dropping. It will be awesome. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other. For more information and to buy tickets, log on to www.stkittsmusicfestival.com.
Cricket West Indies presidential candidate Ricky Scarrett has debunked the idea that West Indies' recent success against England can be credited solely to President Dave Cameron's leadership. During his tenure, the men and women's senior teams had captured the 2020 World Cups 3 years ago and the Youth Windies titles at the ICC Under-19 World Cup that same year. And more recently, West Indies stunned touring England in the 3-Test series last month to regain the Wisden Trophy for the first time in a decade. But Scarrett, at a public meeting hosted by the Cayfield campus of the University of the West Indies, argued that Cameron needed not only to own the successes, but the Windies' failures as well, pointing out that the Windies were losing more in all formats under the Jamaicans' tenure. Scarrett explained that the team's percentage of winning matches has been on the decline under Cameron. Scarrett and Dr. Kishore Shallow are campaigning ahead of the March 24th CWI elections in Jamaica, which will see them up against Cameron and current Vice President Emmanuel Nanson. Switching sports now, Jamaica's squad for this year's FIFA Women's World Cup in France is expected to be selected following a training camp in South Africa next month. The camp will run from April 1st to 9th, and assistant coach Andrew Price believes the current 24-member training squad will be whittled down to the final 14 thereafter. Price praised the side's attitude in both matches and said there would be tough competition for the final places. Jamaica became the first Caribbean country to qualify for a FIFA Women's World Cup when they beat Panama on penalties in the third-place match at the CONCACAF Women's Championship last October. Since then, they have been undergoing preparation for the June 7th to July 7th showpiece, where they feature in Group C alongside Australia, Italy, and Brazil. In two recent friendly matches against Chile, they pulled off a 1-0 win over the South Americans before edging them 3-2 a few days later. Meanwhile, Reggae Girls head coach Hugh Menzies and his assistant finally received their contracts days after Menzies revealed that he has not been given a contract since the Reggae Girls' qualification to the FIFA World Cup. Still in football, more than a year after a scandal involving former high-ranking members of the Cayman Islands Football Association were indicted following that rocked the football world, CONCACAF President Victor Montagliani has given the Alfred Whitaker-led administration a passing grade for bringing the association back on track. The CONCACAF boss was in Cayman recently for a leadership forum for members of the hemispheric football body. Speaking with Cayman 27's Jordan Armanese, Montagliani praised Whitaker for bringing football back on track. And Cayman is set to take on Montserrat in their final League of Nations encounter on March 23rd. They went down 4-0 to Jamaica in their last game in Kingstown, with both teams in search of their first win in the tournament. The CONCACAF boss believes the clash will be an important one. And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
When we were building in 1984, we decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning. From my home, we get rain 2 days and we still get hot water.
We've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try solar dynamic.
Solar dynamics, water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Become part of a family of over 2.5 million people in 16 Caribbean countries. When you join a credit union, you're not just a member, you are part owner. Join a credit union today. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions.
Coming up, you and your crew will not be left behind at Crop Over Barbados. There's fame, fashion and leisure life in Anguilla. It's all next on Caribbean Passport on this station.
We decided to get the solar water heater.
We use it up to this morning. From my home, we get rain 2 days and I still get hot water.
I've had it for 30 years and I have no problems with it up to this day.
All I can say is that anyone who wishes to have a system, try solar dynamic.
Solar dynamics, water heater systems are now right through the Caribbean.
Become part of a family of over 2.5 million people in 16 Caribbean countries. When you join a credit union, you're not just a member, you are part owner. Join a credit union today. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Confederation of Credit Unions.
Coming up, you and your crew will not be left behind at Crop Over Barbados. There's fame, fashion and leisure life in Anguilla. It's all next on Caribbean Passport on this station.
Major developments of this day. Guyana's President David Granger urges the country's Elections Commission to advise when it will be ready for the polls. And in sport, Cricket West Indies presidential candidate Ricky Skerritt says the incumbent Dave Cameron needs to own his successes and failures at the helm. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.